Hello everyone and welcome to another episode. It is Coach MJ. 5 months ago, I was lost. Spiritually, physically, mentally. I had no clear path, no clear direction, not knowing what I wanted to do. I had managed to lose weight before in the past, but was never able to keep it off and make it sustainable and a pure lifestyle. I knew I wanted to lose weight, but I didn't know how. This time was different, and I knew exactly what to do to make it work. Now, quick disclaimer before I continue on with this video. Everything I will be explaining to you is everything that I did that worked for me, that allowed me to lose weight the way I did in the amount of time that I did it. This isn't a one-size-fits-all type of video. It doesn't mean that what I did is necessarily gonna work for you. We don't all have the same life. We don't all have the same schedule. We don't all have the same sleep schedule. So please, take this video as more of a story. You could also apply some things that I teach you in this video as well into your daily life. This video is mainly a story about how I lost weight, and I'm hoping that some of you will be able to include this into your lifestyle and maybe it'll work. And I'm really hoping it does. And if it does, fantastic. Let me know in the comments if it does work for you. That's enough. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So first off, why did I decide to lose weight? Well, I had lost weight before in the past. The only difference was that I wasn't able to keep it sustainable. I had lost weight and then I always managed to gain it back. About 3 years ago, I went from 250 pounds to about 170 pounds. Then I went from 220 pounds back down to 180. And about 5 months ago, I looked like this. And now I'm sitting at around 180 pounds, not hungry, not tired, full of energy, and I'm able to do moves every single week. I'm able to coach basketball and baseball and play basketball every single week. And I'm not tired and I'm not hungry. Now the question is, how did I do that? And why is it different this time? So I would say the biggest shift that I made in terms of this weight loss this time was sustainability over the extreme. I made sure it was sustainable and I didn't restrict myself in my foods. Meaning that if I had a craving and I wanted a burger, I wanted fries, I wanted ice cream, I wanted pizza, well, I didn't restrict myself. I allowed myself to have those things. I allowed myself to eat what I was craving, but obviously everything in moderation. There was one non-negotiable rule, however, that I had to follow, and that was that I needed to stay in caloric deficit, meaning that I was always burning more than what I was eating. Honestly, guys, as cliche as that sounds, that is the way to go. That is scientifically proven the way to lose weight. In reality, it really is that simple. Lose more calories than what you are gaining. Now, why was it that allowing myself to have the foods that I was craving allow me to still lose weight? Well, like I mentioned before, I was in a caloric deficit, but not only that, it was easier on me mentally because I no longer had cravings. Because I didn't restrict myself in my foods, I didn't have a desire to go out and binge eat everything that I saw because I knew that if I really wanted to, I could have it. But by allowing myself to have those foods, I no longer desired to eat them. Because I knew I could have a burger, because I knew I could have a pizza if I wanted it, because I knew I could have a hot dog, ice cream, you mention it, I no longer wanted to have those foods. I know it sounds strange and counterintuitive, but trust me, that's what actually works. Now again, this type of lifestyle is for everyday living in my case. I'm not trying to compete for bodybuilding. I'm not trying to compete for any special type of competition. Of course, if you're a professional athlete and things of that nature, it might look completely different for you. But for me, this is what worked because this is just for everyday living. You're not going to be restricting yourself on foods for everyday life. Me personally, I truly feel that you need to be able to enjoy your food. You need to be able to enjoy your nutrition. You can't go in every day not looking forward to your next meal. I feel like you should be looking forward to when you're going to be eating and enjoy the food and have a healthy relationship with food. Now, me, I have 4 different jobs. I have a crazy schedule. For those of you who don't know, I'm a professional mover. I'm a manager for one of the biggest moving companies in all of Ontario. I'm also a personal trainer. I coach baseball. And then on the side, I do film and media. All 4 things allow me to have a full schedule, but that also means that I have days where I'm out of the house by 7 a.m. and I'm only back in the house by 9 p.m. So I am constantly on the road, always on the go, doing everything I'm about to tell you allowed me to fit it into my schedule. The number one key for me was meal prepping. Okay, I would always choose the Sunday after going to church. I would always then meal prep my food and have it ready for the week. But there are some days where I was way too tired to be able to meal prep, way too tired to be able to cook my food. So there were days where meal prepping was not available and I didn't have food already ready for me. Whenever that would happen, I would have to resort to outside foods. I'd have to resort to either restaurant food, to gas station food, to anything that was available. Rule number 2, I would always choose the healthiest option available for me. I call this the when you can't eat properly, eat smart. My number one trick, and this goes for anybody because I truly feel like this is honestly a cheat code, is whenever you didn't have time to meal prep and you have no choice but to rely on outside foods, go to your local Super C, to your Food Basics, to really any grocery store, and they should have these $9.99 rotisserie chickens. If you're from Ontario, you know which ones I'm talking about. Honestly, they have probably around 200 to 250 grams of protein in there, something like maybe 600 calories. Okay, really not a lot of calories considering the amount of protein that you get in it, and that'll last me the day. That's what I ate, that's what I relied on. It's cheap, it's affordable, and it's full of protein. Now, let's say I didn't have any grocery stores, I didn't have anything available, and always on the road, so gas stations were my only friend in this type of situation. If I went to a gas station, depending on which ones you go to, and these are the ones that I would go to the ones that have the protein sandwiches, any that have protein bars, energy drinks, things like that. Very important, the energy drinks must be the zero sugar energy drinks. Why have the extra calories if you don't need to have them? I would always choose the healthiest alternative. So for me, it was their chicken sandwiches with a protein bar and their pepperette sticks with cheese and then their energy drinks. That was what I relied on. Now, this is just what worked for me. I'm not saying you have to enjoy those, and if you don't enjoy those, find a different alternative, but that's what worked for me. That's what made me feel full and kept me satiated and was somewhat healthy considering what I had available to me. Rule number 3 is protein first. Make sure you hit what you're supposed to hit in protein every single day. My rule is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And you could always go a bit over if ever you're on a cut, all right? So for me, I was 220 pounds and I was trying to cut down to right about where I am now, around 180. I might try and aim for 175, so stay tuned for that. So if I was 220 pounds, that means I needed to eat 220 or more grams of protein. And now obviously, as I went down in weight, I could either choose to still eat the same amount of protein or I could lower those grams if I really wanted to. Overall, the number 3 rule that you must always listen to is always choose protein first. So we've gone actually through about 4 rules. Okay, so here's a small recap of those rules. Rule number 1, stay in a caloric deficit. Rule number 2, always choose the healthiest option available to you. Number 3, prioritize protein. And rule number 4, the most important rule to me, is that if you are craving something, have it. Simple as that. Moderation is key to sustainability. Now, the mental aspect of things. Probably the biggest difference between my previous weight loss and the ones now. Weight loss should support your life. It should become something you enjoy. It shouldn't become your life. What I mean by that is you shouldn't be all glued in to your food. Your food should not become your life to where if you mess up or if you eat something unhealthy, that shouldn't affect the rest of your day. It shouldn't affect the rest of your week. It should be something you're proud of, something that you're happy to be doing. But trust me, you have so much more to life and so much more to enjoy than what you eat and what you don't eat and restricting yourself in foods and being so focused on losing weight. You have 24 hours in a day. Trust me, you do not want to be thinking for 24 hours straight what you should be eating, because what that can do is you become obsessed over food. It'll let workouts affect your mood, and it'll let the scale define you. Why? Why should the scale affect who you are as a person? It doesn't define who you are. You are a great person, regardless of what the scale shows, regardless of what you eat. Now, of course, for health purposes, of course, I will always be the type to say, yes, become a healthy weight for the person that you are, right? Depending on your height, depending on your weight, everything like that. But it shouldn't define who you are. Now, here are some tools that I did use during my weight loss. I used my MyFitnessPal to track all my food. The reason why this was probably the most important tool that I used during my whole journey was that it took me 5 seconds to log in my food, scan it, track it, and then put my phone away and then come back to reality. That allowed me to be stress-free about my food, kind of forget about it, allowed me to keep tracking, knowing how much I had left to eat in a day, and it allowed me to enjoy everyday life. I wasn't writing it down in a journal and having to keep going back to the journal, look at it. No, MyFitnessPal, boom, 5 seconds, put the phone away, done. Now, what I will not be covering in this video is the exact foods that I ate and my workout splits. If you do want videos on that, please write it down in the comments, and I will make sure to make videos about the exact foods that I ate during my weight loss, what I'm eating right now, and the workout splits that I am currently doing right now during my weight loss. Final takeaway from this video, guys, is that weight loss does not have to be extreme. It just needs to be sustainable and enjoyable. Now, as cliche as this sounds, as someone who has the craziest schedule that I've ever had in my life, and someone who has done this 3 times and has finally figured out how to do this, if I'm able to do this with the crazy schedule that I have, so can you. And that's gonna do it for today's episode, guys. So if you did enjoy the video and you want me to make more videos, either on the types of workouts that I was doing or that I'm doing right now, or the foods that I was eating, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That would mean a lot. It would allow me to continue to make more videos like this for you guys. And as always, please have a good rest of your day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.